Welcome to the Path to Mindset Mastery. My name is Brad Bizjack. I am a mindset coach, inspirational speaker, and creator of Appreciation Academy, and I am on a mission to help online business owners break through the negative self-talk that they have so they can finally get unstuck and see the success that they deserve. And I'm curious, do you ever feel like you can't get it all done? Like the to-do list just keeps piling over from one day to the next, and you just spend hours and hours and hours on your computer desperately wanting your life to change, but it feels like even though you're putting in the work, you're not moving forward, and it's really, really frustrating. I have been in that situation so many times, more times than I can count, and so if that sounds familiar to you, see if this does too. I remember spending 12 to 15 hours a day focusing on my business, and it felt like I was barely inching forward. Sometimes it even felt like I was going backwards and I didn't know why. And then I'd see someone with massive success, like insane amounts of success, just crushing it, working like 3 or 4 hours a day. And I got so confused, like, what was I doing wrong? Why are they crushing it and I'm not? And so I got really, really burnt out and I didn't know why. Even if I hit a monthly benchmark and helped my 3 people a month, I just felt drained from having my focus on my business all the time and zero results to show for it. And on top of that, I had these silly little habits. Like, do any of these sound familiar to you? I'd transfer my to-do list from one notebook onto the next sheet of paper the next day. Have you ever done that before? Just so you could cross something off, or maybe you even write something down that you already did, just so you would feel successful. But an interesting thing happened. Even when I completed my to-do list, I never felt fulfilled. It was always like, well, now what? And it felt like my mind always needed to be on work or what I needed to get done. And the bottom line was this: I was incredibly unproductive. And it felt like I spent all my time on work and it felt like I got nothing done moving forward. And if that's you, stay tuned, because holy cow, I've got some goodies for you today. This is how I went about getting way more done in way less time. And so I started to take a look at what happened on the rare days where I actually did complete my list. On those rare days where I actually did complete my list, something interesting happened. Even though I wasn't anywhere near where I wanted to be in terms of fulfillment, something stuck out to me. I noticed that I did the most important thing first. So I started studying. What do successful people do to manage their time. And I started reading David Allen's Getting Things Done, or I took Tony Robbins' The Time of Your Life course, or Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week. And all of them blew my mind. So for this podcast episode, I have to give credit where credit is due. This one goes out to Tony, David, and Tim, because those guys taught me, and without their knowledge, there's no way that I'd be where I am right now. So I highly suggest you take a look at their books and their programs. I don't get compensated in any way for saying that. They've just changed my life so much. And if I had to start with one, though, if I had to pick one to do, it would be Tony Robbins' The Time of Your Life. So let's dive in. What did I change to get way more done in way less time? It's interesting because right now, and I don't say this to impress you, I say this to impress upon you the impact of this. Right now, I'm more successful in financial terms than I've ever been in my whole life. More customers than I've ever had in my entire life. More responsibilities than I've ever had in my entire life. More projects than I've ever been working on in my entire life. I host a podcast. I coach people through multiple online courses. I've spoken internationally. I have group coaching clients. I have one-on-one clients. I'm married. I attend events for personal growth and all of that stuff. And I don't share that to impress you. I share that to impress upon you something very, very interesting. It's the least emotionally busy I've ever been in my entire life. The least emotionally busy I've ever been in my entire life. And I would even say probably almost the least busy I've been in my entire life. And yes, don't get me wrong, I still have commitments. I still have a full packed schedule, but I'm not worried about my business and my business affecting my life 24/7. So how do I do that? I'm going to tell you. And by the way, this is going to sound like a step back from productivity, because it requires less action up front and more thinking up front. But trust me, this is one of the main reasons that I've gotten to where I am right now. So number one, remove your focus from your to-do list. Remove your focus from your to-do list. All your to-do list focuses on is what you haven't achieved. That's it. There's a reason it drives you nuts to look at it. There's a reason why it never gets done. It's because it reminds you of what you didn't do. And by the way, that's a whole other topic. I highly encourage you to listen to my podcast from last week, Why It Feels Like You Never Get Ahead. That's the name of the podcast. It is incredibly helpful, incredibly valuable, focusing on that. It helps you focus on what you did get done instead of what you didn't do. So you haven't been productive with a to-do list yet, so stop looking at it as something that is going to make you productive in the future. And there comes a time that I'm going to talk about in just a minute that will help you with writing down what you actually need to complete, but a couple steps come first. So number one is to make sure you throw the whole to-do list idea out the window. Number two, we'll get back to that. Number two, focus on the outcome. What does that mean? That means begin with the end in mind. Again, stop focusing on what you need to do and start focusing on the results you want. When was the last time you said, what is the outcome I want today? What is the outcome I want from work today? When you have a to-do list 1,000,000 miles long, you can't pick a priority. Overwhelm sets in. And by the way, all overwhelm means is that you haven't picked a priority. That's all it means. That's it. So when your to-do list is screaming at you, everything seems to be a big priority, right? So you can't focus. So pause for a second and ask yourself, what outcome do I want today? Ask yourself that. What outcome do I want today? What's the result I'd like to achieve today? Do you see how that question alone can laser focus you into the next step? Just that one question by focusing on the outcome. When you have an outcome in mind, you have clarity. Overwhelm instantly disappears because you know what's most important to you. Everything aligns and it just becomes easy when you know the outcome. And on top of that, you actually know the direction of your goals. So instead of just praying that your action will get you to where you want to be one day, you'll know it will. So that's step one. Focus on the outcome you want today. What result do you want? Not what you need to do. That question alone will change your whole life. What is the outcome I want? The anticipation of a great future is what actually excites you, right? That's what really pumps you up. So focus on the future you want to create. The fastest way to get excited about your goals is to actually picture them. And that can include a goal for today and a goal long term. If you focus on the outcome you want every day, when you do that, you have to picture your goals. So ask yourself, what do I really want to accomplish today? And start every day from that place. The day will get so much easier because your to-do list will start to become a to-be list, and it becomes so much simpler that way. That's number two. Number three, why is that outcome so important to you? Why is that outcome so incredibly important to you? So many people skip this part because they want to get right into the action. And action is super important, but remember why you're even creating your business in the first place. Have you ever thought about that? Like, why are you actually creating your business in the first place? Stop being so damn busy creating a living that you forget to create a life. Have you ever stopped to wonder why your goals are so important to you anyways? It's not because of the goals. It's because of how those goals will make you feel. That's why you set goals, because of how those goals will make you feel. Making six figures has nothing to do with the money. You don't care about the piece of paper in your wallet. It has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with your associations to specific feelings you think you'll have when you get to earning that amount of money. Does that make sense? It has to do with associations to it. So when you look at an outcome, what feelings is that outcome helping you to achieve? Why do those feelings mean something to you? And write this down. Reasons come first, answers come second. It's so important for you to understand that. Reasons come first, answers come second. There's one reality in goal setting. Most of what you try will not work. So you need to have a strong enough reason for why you're doing this so that you'll stick with it through the hard times. So ask yourself why that outcome is so important to you. What's it going to make you feel? Find the reason that you're doing this, and the how will reveal itself. So to start, you don't need to know how. You need to know why. You need to have a reason to be productive for. What's the reason you want to be productive for? What is that for you? Or the action you take would mean nothing. Does that make sense? The how will show up for you if you have strong enough reasons. You'll stick with it through any hardship if you have enough reasons. So find your reasons for going after that outcome, or else you're going to keep tripping over yourself, getting into negative self-talk slumps and getting down on yourself. That's number 3. Reasons come first, answers come second. Know why you're doing it. Number 4, brain dump your action. Brain dump everything that will take you towards that goal. So this step is really simple. Once you know what you want and why you want it, write out every possible thing that you can think of that might get you to the result. Everything. The goal of this stage is actually to overwhelm you with possibilities and ideas. Get it all out of your head and onto paper, and don't worry about how many things you write. That's not important. We'll refine that in a second, but you're gonna clear up space in your own mind by getting it all out on paper. This step is super, super simple. Just brain dump everything on paper. That's number 4. Number 5, refine. So as of right now, once you've done this, you know your outcome, you know why it's important to you, and you have brain dumped your massive action that will get you there. You're probably looking at the biggest to-do list you've ever seen in your life, and you're going, Brad, wait, you told me not to do a to-do list. What's going on here? And it probably fills up the entire sheet. So want to know how we're going to clean it up? Really simple. You are going to pick the top 20% of the things on that brain dump list that will make the biggest impact on you getting closer to your goals that day. Select the top 20%. That might be 5 things, might be 10 things, doesn't matter. Select the top 20%. And what you're gonna do, like what's really gonna feel good, is that you're gonna forget about everything else on that list. In fact, you're just gonna leave your brain dump sheets on a different piece of paper or throw it out. You don't even need it anymore, because every day you're gonna do this. And when you focus on this every day, you're gonna get more clarity and more direction on where you wanna go than you ever have before. So every day you're gonna do this. Refine, pick the top 20% of what's most important to you on that list. When you know what you want, why you want it, you won't need to keep rewriting the same to-do list over and over again. You just take massive action on the most important items. So once you select that top 20%, you're gonna prioritize them into different categories. This is what I learned from David Allen. You're gonna write out, from those top 20%, it could be 5, 6, 7 things. You're gonna write out different categories, A, B, and C. A is your must do, B is your should do, and C is your would be nice to do categories. And by the way, if anything in your top 20% doesn't fit those categories, delegate it or get rid of it. There's no point in it being on your list. So once you have them in their different categories, their different buckets, A, B, and C, you're gonna prioritize them in order of importance. You're gonna prioritize them, for example, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, C1, C2, C3, C4. Get the picture? Does that make sense? So now you're looking at a beautiful, prioritized list of items that will take you to the outcome you actually want. But there's another step. Once you have that organized, you're gonna take massive action. And by massive action, I mean take massive action on the most important item, AKA A1. And this is probably gonna be the thing that you've been putting off for a really long time. This is probably the most scary of the things that you do, or the things that you have to do. And this is probably because you're probably not gonna wanna do this. And this is a prime example of why it's so important that you take the time and ask yourself why you want this and find your reasons. Remember, reasons come first, answers come second. But before, and tell me if this is you, comment below if this is you. Have you ever done something and like you make your big list and you take care of the easy stuff on that list first? You check it off just to free some space up and to feel better, right? There's just one problem with that. When you focus on the easy things first, it sucks up your energy. So when you don't do the most important things, you have nothing left to give by the time you get to the most important stuff. So you put them off until tomorrow. Then the next day, you put the important things off until tomorrow. Same thing, you put them off the next day. But let me ask you this. What happens when you do the most important thing first? When you do the most important, most scary thing first, what happens? You actually increase your energy. Why? Because you're giving the most energy to the most important thing. You'll feel progress for the first time in your life, and progress equals happiness. So if you feel happy and proud because you've accomplished the most important thing on your list, are you gonna be more or less likely to do the next item on your list? More. And by the time you get to the unimportant things, your energy is so high because you've been building energy throughout the day that you'll fly through them faster than ever before, instead of doing all the little things that don't matter and then getting to the big things having no energy left to give. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? And there are so many other secrets to this that I teach in detail in my online course, Appreciation Academy. We don't have time to get to that today. I talk about how to get through the most important items even faster, how to apply this to your biggest dreams, not just your day-to-day to-do list. And so much more than that. So I really hope you choose to check that program out. At the very least, download my free mindset training, The Path to Mindset Mastery. That training is a game changer. You can find that at bradbizjack.com. But anyways, there are other strategies that make this even easier to implement, but start here. This takes your focus away from the to-do list and focuses on the to-be list. It takes time and focus away from the overwhelm and gives you a crystal clear target. When you have a crystal clear target, you know the direction you want to go, it becomes easy to hit your goal. So I promise you that if you do this, you will get way more done in way less time, and you'll feel prouder of yourself than you ever have before. You'll crush your goals faster than ever before. You won't wake up with that tight feeling in your chest. You won't feel stuck. You won't feel like you're spinning your wheels anymore. You'll feel productive. You'll be productive, and you'll achieve more. You'll be fulfilled along the way. And you can always you can do this for every part of your life. So I hope this helps today, my friend, and you can find more life-changing content at bradbizjack.com, but make sure you click the share button today if you feel that this could benefit someone's life. My name is Brad Bizjack. Go out there today and every day and live your life with a genuine smile on your face, because you can, and I will see you next week.